everybody, this is Jennifer. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a reading update, telling you what I read in July and what I am going to be reading for August. The first book I finished in the month of August was Pride by Ibi Zoboi. I ended up giving this 4 stars. It is a YA Pride and Prejudice remix, that's what it's called on the cover, and it is about Zuri Benitez, who loves her family in her Brooklyn neighborhood, and the neighbors, the new family who moves into the McMansion across the street and that are, are above everybody else in social standing and money. And so this uses basically the skeleton of Pride and Prejudice to discuss things like gentrification, and it's got a whole lot of other things going on, probably a little bit too much, which is why it didn't get like 5 stars. And the fact that it's YA and it's like, it takes a lot for me to give a YA book 5 stars, but I really enjoyed this one, and I ended up reading it till 1 in the morning because I didn't want to put it down. So it was, from an entertainment standing, it was very successful. Trying to get done all the things it wanted to get done, it was not that successful. But like I said, I really liked it, and it was a good start to Jane Austen July. The second thing I did was a reread of this Pride and Prejudice. It was kind of like a dual thing. I was listening to the audiobook and reading the notes. This has an entire side here of notes and annotations. And I will say that, well, Pride and Prejudice is my favorite book of all time, so this obviously got 5 stars. When it comes to the annotations, however, I feel like if you're the kind of person who gets meaning from context clues really easily, like a good 60 to 70% of these will not be necessary. However, I did find that it had a lot of interesting things in it that I did not know. Alright, so yeah, that's my... I tried so hard to make a Pride and Prejudice video for Jane Austen July, and I just could not. I tried so hard. But, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's like, sometimes you want to talk about your favorite things, and sometimes you just want to keep them for yourself. And I feel like I've had a decent time commenting on other people's videos about Pride and Prejudice, but as for making my own, it's just not something I've been able to do. We'll see if eventually I do, but who knows. Next thing I read was my first completion for Read German Books 2020, Siddhartha by Herman Hesse. It was... Is there a translation here? Yeah, I do not think it's on this book at all. That is a shame. This one I also liked a lot. Despite its size, it actually took me a while because I found like I could only read like 1 chapter at a time. And I would really only read it like in the mornings with my coffee. I really liked this, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. And when So Siddhartha is like a Brahmin son, and he's very revered, and he has a very loyal friend, Govinda, right? So he decides that he is going to seek to get to like the next level, to get enlightenment, by going out and being an ascetic in the woods, a samana, I think the term is. And so he does that, and it doesn't really get him what he wants. So he goes to meet the Buddha, and that really doesn't end up what he wants. So he ends up meeting this courtesan named Kamala, who hooks him up with this merchant, and he goes out into the world, and eventually he finds his path to enlightenment. And I really enjoyed the reading of this, and I I'd have to say my big takeaways from this is, one, you can't really teach knowledge. You have to like experience your life and go through it in order to get to your big truth. You can't separate from the world and do that. You have to be in it and you have to live it. Anyway, that is my 2 cents on that. If it's worth that much. Anyway, so Repeat by Kylie Scott. It's her newest standalone. This is a romance, contemporary, and it involves Clementine, who has amnesia. And a month previous, she has broken up with her boyfriend, Ed, and she goes to see Ed in his tattoo parlor, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And she's like, "I don't remember anything. Why did we break up?" And so that is it's basically their story, about how they reconnect and what happened in the past and all that. And I really like that too. This was 4 stars. Other than Pride and Prejudice, which got 5, all my reads this month got 4 stars. So I'm considering that really successful. The reason why it didn't get 5 stars, I just didn't connect with it as much as some of Kylie Scott's other works. I'm pretty sure that Kylie Scott is pretty much my favorite contemporary romance writer, and I really love her Stage Dive series and her Dive Bar series, especially that last one. And so, yeah, I'll read pretty much anything she writes. Not everything, but almost everything. And this one was pretty good. I've never had one of hers that I really hated, but some of them I like better than others. And that was the last book I finished. That's not the only, it's been like a week or 2 since I finished that one. But I've started other books, one of which is Foucault's Pendulum. I am about a third of the way through that, with the aid of an audiobook that is an audio reading of it, which is on YouTube, and I am following along in the book. I'm not just listening to it while I do other things. And I've actually just started the audiobook. I've read most of this in this copy, and that's worked fine. However, I'm finding myself, like, a lot of my brain bandwidth is being taken up by work lately, and so I got into a bit of a pit where I was like, I was rereading the same thing like over and over again, and listening to the audiobook when I'm reading it keeps me present in the book while I'm reading it. So I'm really enjoying that experience, and I'm actually liking this book a lot. I will fully admit to doing a surface level, a mostly surface level reading of it, because one, I'm enjoying the sense of humor a lot, and I feel like I need to I need to pay attention, and getting sidetracked by looking up terms and like people and stuff like that are mentioned in this book would not lend itself to a happy reading experience for me. So at least this first time around, it's entirely possible that I'll reread this at some point. But right now, I'm reading it, and I am doing a surface level read, and I'm enjoying it. So I will say, though, I'm a third of the way in, and we're still in a lot of setup. Like, I feel like at least the first half of this book is setup, and there's like 3 different timelines going on, because one, you get him in the Métier Museum where Foucault's Pendulum is, and he's hiding out in this periscope kind of a thing, and he goes back a couple of days to when he's in this guy's apartment reading his files, and then it goes back to where they met. So there's like 3 different, there's like 2 different time jumps. And so, yeah, you gotta pay attention, which is why I've started dual audio and I reading this one. So yeah, so far so good. And The Name of the Rose is on super sale on the Kindle store, so I picked that up too. I am also reading again the Seventh Function of Language. This is a part of my rereading project for the summer, and I'm really enjoying this one. It's going slower than I thought it would, but like I said, a lot of my brain's bandwidth is being taken up by work now, so I am getting through it. I'm almost halfway done. When I read this the first time, it was the same year as I read Circe, and they were both dueling for my top read of the year. And I have to say though, that there are some parts on this reread that I'm finding tedious. I'm still liking the sense of humor, especially whenever the Detective Bayard is on, but they're doing several, Binet here is doing several diversions, and one is a long, dinner party scene with the people who aren't the main characters, Bayard and Simone. So I find that part for me was overly long and it's tedious, but in general, I'm really enjoying this reread. I've started 2 new reads for August, and that's gonna be it for any planned reading. Well, okay. Well, that'll be all for my definitively planned reading for August. So, Foucault's Pendulum, Seventh Function of Language, and I'm reading as a part of Augustus Along that's being led by Jack the Rambling Raconteur. I am reading The 12 Caesars by Suetonius, and I have the Robert Graves translation. I am almost halfway done with Julius Caesar right now, so I'm going to try to stick with his, timeline. Fingers crossed. And because I have not had enough weird-ass fiction, I am going to be reading, I've actually started, I'm already a couple pages into Bunny by Mona Awad. And this involves, it's a campus novel, and there's this girl who gets in, I think she gets in, I'm not 100% sure, I'm pretty sure she gets into this little society on campus called the Bunnies, and they all refer to themselves as bunnies, and they get up into some crazy bonkers nutso stuff. So I've been meaning to read this ever since it came out, and I'm finally getting around to it. I borrowed it from the library. I don't own a copy. Yeah, that is my reading stuff right now. I have a haul coming up. I'm still waiting. I ordered 4 books online from Abe Books, and I'm waiting for the 4th one to come in, so I'll show you that. And yeah, so I'm going along with my reading, and yeah, that's that. So let me know what you're reading, if you've read any of the books that I've been discussing, and what you thought of them, and just how you're doing. I'm here to chat if you need to type something in the comments section. Yeah, that's it. Bye.